Welcome to our show Hong Kong Brief. I am your host, Ginny. Today, we're diving into the latest buzz from the stock market, where Asian shares are mostly on the decline as uncertainty looms over President Trump's upcoming tariff announcements. While Japan's Nikkei 225 saw a slight dip, Australia's S&P ASX 200 managed a modest rise. The looming tariffs are causing quite a stir, affecting inflation and economic growth, leading to fluctuations on Wall Street as well. In sports news, we have the inspiring story of Manuel Bleda, a Spain-born striker who has overcome multiple knee surgeries and is now targeting a spot on the Hong Kong national team. After receiving his passport while still in rehab, Bleda has re-signed with Eastern FC and is eager to make a significant impact in the upcoming matches, all while the team is on the hunt for multiple titles under coach Roberto Losada. And for film enthusiasts, we're discussing the extended version of the hit movie The Last Dance, which is set to hit screens on April 4th. This version includes 12 minutes of new footage that enhances the emotional depth of the storyline. While some scenes might resonate more than others, the general consensus is that this added content feels more like a bonus for home viewing rather than a must-see in theaters. Please continue to watch for more detailed content. Associated Press reports that Asian shares experienced a mostly downward trend as investors braced for President Donald Trump's impending announcement on tariffs, which he dubbed Liberation Day. Amidst this uncertainty, Japan's Nikkei 225 managed to recover slightly, while Australia's S&P ASX 200 saw a modest increase. Conversely, South Korea's Kospi and Hong Kong's Hang Seng faced declines. Wall Street, reflecting similar volatility, saw the S&P 500 rebound from an early drop, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average fluctuated between significant losses and gains. The bond market reacted negatively to reports of a contraction in U.S. manufacturing activity, leading to a drop in Treasury yields. Companies are already feeling the pinch from ongoing trade tensions, with some reporting a slowdown in sales and a cautious approach to orders due to tariff-related anxieties. South China Morning Post highlights the inspiring journey of Spain-born striker Manuel Bleda, who is now eyeing a call-up to the Hong Kong football team after overcoming a series of knee surgeries. Having obtained his passport in February 2024, Bleda faced a grueling rehabilitation process, which included 3 operations and a challenging return to training. His determination paid off when he recently returned to the pitch, contributing to his team, Eastern, by assisting in a match against Kit Chi. Bleda's aspirations extend beyond club success. He expresses a strong desire to support the Hong Kong team in upcoming qualifiers, showing a commitment to both his personal goals and the broader football community in Hong Kong. South China Morning Post also reviews the extended version of the hit film The Last Dance, which adds 12 minutes of previously unseen footage just in time for the Qingming Festival. The film, a poignant family drama featuring a wedding planner turned funeral agent, has garnered significant acclaim, leading the Hong Kong Film Awards with 18 nominations. While the added scenes primarily enrich the early parts of the film with comedic moments, they do not substantially alter the central narrative about family dynamics. One notable addition reveals the protagonist's troubled relationship with his father, adding depth to the storyline. However, the reviewer suggests that these scenes might have been better suited as bonus content rather than the main attraction for the film's re-release, leaving audiences to ponder the necessity of this extended cut. Reuters Breaking Views reports that while global traders are showing renewed interest in Chinese equities, long-term investment allocations remain significantly low. The onshore market, valued at $14 trillion, is still dominated by transient foreign money, with long-only investors hesitant to commit. Goldman Sachs indicates that allocations to Chinese equities have only risen marginally, reflecting a cautious sentiment as the CSI 300 index has seen minimal gains this year. Despite some optimism fueled by government support for the private sector, the reality is that institutional investors continue to perceive Chinese stocks as short-term trades rather than stable investments. Additionally, regulatory concerns and a lack of confidence from Beijing are limiting the potential for long-term capital inflows. Nikkei Asia highlights China's preparations for the impact of new tariffs announced by U.S. President Donald Trump. Analysts suggest that China has various tools at its disposal to mitigate the economic fallout, including monetary easing and fiscal packages aimed at boosting domestic consumption. Predictions indicate that the impending tariffs could reduce China's GDP growth rate by 0.7 percentage points, but the overall impact may be manageable. As tensions between the two superpowers escalate, China's government is taking proactive measures to support economic growth, including raising fiscal deficit targets and promoting domestic retail sales. Despite the challenges, some Chinese companies are expanding into the U.S. market, viewing it as a critical opportunity for growth. The South China Morning Post reports a decline in Hong Kong stocks amid uncertainty surrounding Trump's tariff announcements. The Hang Seng Index fell by 0.8%, reflecting investor apprehension. Major companies like Trip.com and BYD saw significant drops in their stock prices, highlighting the potential adverse effects of U.S. tariffs on profits. Barclays noted that these tariffs could be too substantial for companies to absorb, especially in industries highly exposed to U.S. trade policies. While some stocks like Shenzhen SoFarSolar experienced remarkable gains, the overall market sentiment remains cautious as trade tensions continue to loom over the economic landscape in Asia-Pacific. South China Morning Post reports that Beijing has appointed Zhou Chao-Yatming as the new Hong Kong police commissioner, taking over from Raymond Shu-Chuk-yi, whose term ended recently. Chao, who has been with the police since 1995, has climbed the ranks rapidly, previously serving as the deputy commissioner and overseeing significant operations, including a crackdown on triad activities. His appointment comes at a crucial time as the force faces transitions with the retirement of senior officials. Chao's experience includes handling high-pressure situations during the protests in 2019, and he is expected to lead the 27,000-strong force with a focus on maintaining order in a city that has seen significant unrest and changes in policing strategy. South China Morning Post also highlights the concerns of Hongkongers as the government announces a significant increase in public healthcare fees. The price hikes, which include more than doubling emergency visit costs and raising specialist outpatient fees, have added to the financial burden of residents already struggling with rising living costs. While the government defends these adjustments as necessary for sustainability, many citizens, particularly those in the middle class, fear they will face increased financial strain. The changes could lead to downward mobility for families who find themselves unable to cope with the costs of essential healthcare, raising questions about the future of public services in Hong Kong amidst an aging population and declining economic stability. South China Morning Post chronicles a personal journey through chronic pain and the exploration of stem cell therapy as an alternative to surgery. After suffering from a severe rotator cuff injury, the author contemplates surgery but is intrigued by the potential of stem cell treatment, which has gained popularity among athletes. Despite initial skepticism and the stigma surrounding stem cell procedures, the author finds a reputable clinic in Bangkok that offers promising results. The treatment involves extracting the patient's own stem cells and has shown significant improvements in pain and mobility. A decade later, after undergoing a second round of stem cell therapy, the author reflects on the advancements in the field and the increasing acceptance of stem cell treatments, noting that while the costs remain high, the outcomes have been life-changing. SCMP opinion highlights the urgent need for Hong Kong to attract and retain native-speaking English teachers, NETs, to maintain its status as an international business hub. The government has revamped the recruitment model, allowing schools more flexibility in hiring NETs with a new salary structure. However, this comes with cuts to retention incentives and bonuses, which may discourage potential teachers. Despite a stabilization in teacher attrition rates, concerns remain over the impact of political and social changes on the education sector. Schools are optimistic about expanding their net teams, but the competitive nature of salary packages could pose a challenge in attracting quality educators, emphasizing the critical role of English proficiency in the city's global competitiveness. In the South China Morning Post, legal experts discuss the implications of China's antitrust probe into CK Hutchison Holdings' planned sale of its overseas ports, including those at the Panama Canal, to a consortium led by BlackRock for $23 billion. The investigation could impose conditions on the sale or even lead to its prohibition if deemed anti-competitive. Pro-Beijing media have intensified pressure on Hutchison to halt the sale, citing concerns over national security and competition in the Chinese market. The complexities of the transaction are compounded by the potential for a new buyer to emerge if the exclusivity period expires during the investigation, raising questions about the future of the deal and its effects on global supply chains. The sports section of the South China Morning Post captures the thrilling atmosphere of the ongoing football season, with Arsenal securing a crucial 2-1 victory over Fulham, while Manchester United faced a disappointing 1-0 loss to Nottingham Forest. Arsenal's win keeps them in contention for the title, although they trail Liverpool significantly. Meanwhile, Real Madrid's dramatic 5-4 aggregate win over Real Sociedad in the Copa del Rey semifinals keeps their hopes for a treble alive. The report also touches on notable events in other European leagues and competitions, highlighting the excitement and unpredictability that characterize this pivotal time in football. South China Morning Post reports that Hong Kong's property market has shown a significant rebound in March, with sales reaching a 4-month high. The surge, attributed to a revitalized stock market and a new tax scheme for homes, saw a 55% increase in sales, totaling 6,657 properties, with the transaction value soaring to 45.63 billion Hong Kong dollars, $5.9 billion US. Analysts believe this bullish trend is likely to continue, forecasting April sales to potentially hit 7,040 lots. The easing of stamp duties, particularly for properties valued up to 4 million Hong Kong dollars, has encouraged buyers, especially for smaller residential units. Despite the sales increase, the secondary home market has seen prices decline for 3 consecutive months, indicating a complex landscape as the real estate sector grapples with both recovery and price pressures. In a separate report, the South China Morning Post highlights ongoing military drills conducted by the People's Liberation Army, PLA, in the Taiwan Strait, signaling heightened tensions between Beijing and Taiwan. The exercises, labeled Strait Thunder 2025A, focus on various military capabilities such as area control and joint blockade. This follows a series of military maneuvers aimed at sending a stern warning to Taiwan amid rising cross-strait tensions, particularly after Taiwanese leader Lai Ching-te's remarks labeling Beijing as a foreign hostile force. The situation remains delicate as the U.S. continues to support Taiwan while not recognizing its independence, leading to a complex geopolitical landscape in the region. The SCMP opinion section discusses the implications of recent U.S. sanctions imposed on Hong Kong officials, including the city's police chief and secretary for justice. These sanctions, which follow a period of relative stability in U.S.-Hong Kong relations, have been criticized by Beijing as a malicious attempt to undermine Hong Kong's prosperity. The timing of these sanctions coincides with a controversial business deal involving Li Ka-shing's CK Hutchison Holdings and a U.S. investment firm, raising concerns about the broader impact on bilateral relations. The article argues that the U.S.'s focus on human rights as a justification for sanctions is a convenient cover for a more transactional approach, which may ultimately harm American interests as investors begin to return to Hong Kong in search of opportunities amidst the evolving economic landscape. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Dragon sleeps, waste to